Welcome to the Apex eSports League LMP900 World Series. Tonight is round 3 of the series, so halfway into the series. We are racing tonight at Sakitto GP. Currently, he's leading the championship is Angry Oldfella, leading with 213 points, with closely following behind Gallon 350 in second and Weavin 777 in 184 points. The rest of the field not too far behind, so it's not a definite winner for the series yet. Last week we saw Gallon 350 take wins in both the sprint race and the main race. And then we saw Sakitto actually take both fastest laps for those races. So some very quick times indeed there. Unfortunately not finishing strongly in the race, but he did actually qualify 5th in the sprint race and 3rd in the main race. So setting some very strong pace. Tonight the session is 2 races. So we have 15-minute practice that we're about to head over to. Weather's clear. Qualifying is 15 minutes with weather of a light cloud. Sprint race is 11-lap race with weather medium cloud. We'll then have a short 5-minute break, and then we'll head back into the next session where we have qualifying for 15 minutes with weather light cloud. Then the main race is 25 laps with weather light cloud and clear. So we'll quickly have a look at this track. So the length is 5.38 kilometres, there's 15 turns. So for those that aren't aware, this is actually Suzuka. Project Cars didn't actually have the right to class it as Suzuka, so it's this Sakitto GP, and the track is quite similar to that same layout. So while drivers get ready and head out of the pits, I'll be back momentarily just to remove the UI from the upper console. G'day Corby, no worries mate, shame you couldn't join us tonight. And thanks for joining us yet again, JK Gamer. And for those that do join us, as you can see, you can use sound effects to play over the stream. I won't hear it, but I can see what you are actually putting out there. Various sound effects to be able to cheer, boo, and other funny ones to be able to use the different events that you see throughout the race. And be sure to chat. I'll try and pay attention to see your messages come up and get back to you. And then let us know who you think will take pole position, who you think will be in for a win. Even let us know who you think might actually end up being able to take the win for the championship as well. And those that have been joining us for this series, we've had some car selection changes last week. We had Corby jump into the Audi after being in the Toyota for the first race. Other drivers deciding to actually keep their car selection. So we had Tenchi, who can't make it at the moment. He's having some power outages at his place, so hopefully he may join us in the second session. And he didn't decide to actually remain in the BMW. He was adamant to keep at it and actually try and practice, not let that BMW get the better of him. So very well done. Oh, we've had a spin out there. Looks like that would be Bertie. No, yes, brought that car back in. Game time is 9 o'clock. It's lit, is clear weather. The track temperatures won't be too cool. And the cars will be out on those the hard slicks, as it is forced default setups on the game. the drivers can head on into the pits, use their pit strategy to actually swap out 2 softs and race on the softs. We've been running a little bit wide going out through that corner. Some good fast corners through this track. And we had Mersey Blue still keep at it with the Bentley. After last week's race, myself and a few others did hang around and actually have a play around on this track with the cars. And then Angry Old Fella jumped into the Bentley and had a go, and he actually did quite enjoy driving the Bentley around. He was doing some very nice times. Unfortunately, I wasn't doing so well. I actually did drive the Toyota, however, I was trying to pilot it with the controller, as after I have done this broadcasting, I can't actually swap over to my steering wheel without actually doing a close down of the game, so it was a disaster for me. First lap's coming in, 1 minute 30s. And there was talk of 129s going on in the lobby before we head off into this session. Very fast corner there indeed. Stanhouse has actually re-entered the pits. He hasn't actually brought that car back into the pits. My race feed is saying he's actually entered, so he's coming in to do a tyre change, so he's probably going to see how the softs go. We'll keep going down the list, check out all the cars and re-familiarise myself with their colours. It tends to be a bit of a constant flow of grey and white with the amount of Audis out there of similar colour. Bertie showing a fair few scrapes along the side of that car already. The Weaven is now coming just marginally in front of Gallen. 1:35.16 and a 1:35.20. 0.004 of a second. That is very tight so far. Psycho also not very far behind with a 1.2 second difference. And on Tuesday we did just wrap out our RS01 Renault Sport Trophy Series as well. And it was a very nice race on our race set. We don't broadcast that one, I do race in that one. Oh, and then a bit of a broad slide there. Is that Gallen or Psycho? That's Psycho. So he has brought that in. I'm not sure if he's taken damage or not. It's 8 minutes of practice remaining. So far, the Bentley not doing too bad off the pace. Bring up the track map. As you can see, there are quite a fair few straights on this track, and a lot of those are with some nice sweeping turns that are quite quick. Not too many tight technical corners in this one. Mersey Blue doing quite well, improving on his times. It's Weaven again beating his time. Now coming in for 1:33.82. I think we may be able to see a 1:29 come about, quite possibly. We'll see if Mersey Blue improves his 1:34. Yes, he's now improved that to a 1:33.094, so well done, Mersey. And Angry is now just coming in with the quickest time, 1:30.157. Very quick indeed. So he's just completed a lap. We will jump on board with Angry once he changes over. Audi R8 for Angry. So a slight slow corner, you have to be careful coming into that. It can tend to be in a slide, but you can get on the hard power all through here. You can see slightly feathering off the throttle completely here. You can actually dip through here quite a bit and then power out quite heavily. There's a fair bit of debris you can see on the track there. That is going to be a bit of a hazard for the cars going around that rather fast corner. This corner here can be flat out, but it starts putting in quite a bad position. Angry now deciding to head off and probably bring that back to the pits. A bad time to jump on board to see a lap done on. And who is coming up for a lap? Jump through, here we go. So stay on for a lap with Curver. Hopefully he doesn't choose to bring it into the pits. Taking some nice lines through there, nice and some debris there out on the track, especially going wide on that corner to be able to get the full driving line. Very nicely done there, very quick, and then dips through. Brilliantly done by Curver. Flat-footed all the way through that corner, and you can just do the same here. A little bit of a slide back into that outside on the brakes, and then feather through and then heavy on here, making that outside rib. On this corner coming up here, you can actually take just about flat out, usually just a tap off the throttle and then let it dip in through. Brilliantly done there. The Audi being very strong and gripping quite well through all there. Almost rev limiting that car. Very quick time. That was very nicely done for a lap with Curver. So our top three are in the 130s, and Curver, Psycho in the 131s, Bertie and Mersey Blue in the 132s. Danhouse not setting a quick time yet, having a few issues possibly. Getting into it flat out. Not sure what he's doing, heading into the pits. Gallon, 128.4. Blistering time. That is very quick indeed. Well done, Gallon. It looks like he's happy with that and he's going to bring it in. Gallon does tend to try and dual watch the stream while playing. So if you are, Gal, give us a flash of the lights, mate. Must be paying attention. Well, 128 might be a little bit hard to beat. Angry, Weaver and Psycho all in the pits. Angry re-entering. And he did actually head in for a pit stop. He didn't just actually pause the game and opt to return to pits. So he's probably changing tyres. may be possible that Gallen may have done that time on softs. Haven't noticed come up on the race feed if he has actually came in for an actual pit stop. Oh, very broad by Angry going through that quite fast corner. Using the full amount of track. I think he's definitely on cold tyres. So he may have opted for the soft, so we've got them up to temp now. This will be his hot lap for sure. Stanhouse now coming in with a 1:35, so things are working out a bit better for Stanhouse at the moment. That first lap we saw him do with a 2-minute time. So only 4.3 seconds separating the field. Very close times between all of them indeed. And it's a field of Audis except for Mersey Blue. His times are actually quite on par with the Audis, not too far off. We need to see Angry, see if he can break into that 129 mark. He's not far from it. Same as Stanhouse, who's just come back with a 130. That is quite quick indeed. Brilliant comeback for Stanhouse. Oh, unfortunate. So 70 seconds remain of the practice session. Is Angry coming up to the final stretch? Will he improve that time? I think he will. No, I don't think he did. That last lap of 1:32, so 2 seconds off the pace of his best. So if he did change to the softs, perhaps the hards are actually doing quite well with the weather being clear and the season is summer. Sure what's going on. Curver, he's just coasting out of the pits, just rolling about. He's brought that back. 30, just finishing his last lap. Nosy Blue, so practice session is complete. So Gallen takes the fastest time in the practice session with a 1:28.411. So very quick indeed. So with Stanhouse following in with a 1:30, 1.6 seconds off the pace, and Angry Old Fella not far off that, and as well as Weaven, all very tight times throughout the field. So our first four, 2 seconds, sorry, our first five, 2 seconds apart. It will be a very interesting qualifying session and an even more exciting race indeed. And for some reason, it shows Curver as being French on his flag. That's quite interesting. So over into our 15-minute qualifying session. So the weather conditions have changed for qualifying, so the weather is now light cloud. Game time is now 10 o'clock, so it is now an hour later. So ambient temp will change. And as you can see, I'm trying to go there, coming out of those pits is quite a big drop in the concrete. I'll load up and get our driver statistics and see how our drivers have been faring on average points. we normally have that loaded up and ready to go, but I was a little bit distracted today and not fully prepared. So if you're joining us for our stream, let us know who you think's going to get polled. So it looked like Weaven and Angry Oldfella potentially finishing quite strongly. Oh, Bertie running off there, no damage. Wait, Ranger on that track so he doesn't waste this lap. There's no point bringing it back to the pits. Current average points, Tenchi is currently running 22 points average per race. Lazy Blue is averaging 24 points. Corby, who hasn't been able to make it tonight, we saw him chatting earlier if you're still watching. Unfortunately we couldn't get you. He's taken a pole position, average qualifying position of 6, and has placed a third average race position of 6. And he's averaging 36 points. We've got Stanhouse averaging 34 points per race. Gallen is averaging 53 points per race. Angry Oldfella on par with that with 53 points, and those two are 3 points difference in the championship currently. So there's some fierce competition between Gallen 350 and Angry Oldfella tonight. One of them will definitely be able to get ahead out of tonight's race, I do assume. Angry Oldfella having some bad luck in the races with taking a fair few hits and accidents. Last race spinning out a few tyres, and then the first round having some quite bad luck on that first corner of the main race, but managing to recover and actually still win the race and take a clean sweep. So all of those through the field. Psycho Agency is averaging 36 points per race. We have Weaven 777 averaging 46 points. Bertie is averaging 33. Matteo Tommaso hasn't been able to make each round. He's also working this week as well, so can't make it. Hopefully makes it next week. He is averaging 31, and Curve is averaging 36. So quite similar points averages for the drivers. So now 2 leaders on the board, being Angry Oldfella and Gallen, moves quite strongly. And Stanhouse doing some very quick times out there in that practice session. And the results from last week, Stanhouse did finish second in the main race. We don't get a very good camera shot on that corner. So opening laps, 130s, 131, 132 and 134. Decent times. I do assume track temps have probably dropped that a little bit more. So those driving on the hards, that looks like Psycho letting Angry get around. Angry being out on hot tyres. Psycho most likely be his out lap from the pits. Getting some temperature in those tyres. It's probably not the best spot to try and get some temp in. You do want to be flat foot through that corner all the way to get a good run from that start. Oh, and a sign has been taken out. Looks like that may have been Gallen, I think. Get a feed saying lap time invalidated. That may have been residual from the last session. Cameraman not doing a very good job. So already 3 129s. Weaving 777 coming in for 129.360. Debris scattered across the track. A lot of rubber, and you can see also glistening on the track along there as well, so some dirt has been thrown out on the track. Let's see just how quick we're getting near 280 on that rev limiter all the way through. Interesting to see how the Bentley fares along that corner. May potentially have a speed advantage on that corner. We're expecting it to be a bit quicker at Snetterton on the straights, but we were seeing the Audi at least being 5 kilometres quicker. After the race last week as well, Gallen did actually jump into all the different cars and re-race at Snetterton just to give a comparison. So we were talking before about drivers testing the cars, and we allowed the opportunity to change car because of significant difference, where we were seeing at least 3 to 6 seconds difference in the cars. And the outcome was that it was actually quite difficult to drive the BMW and Ferrari. The Toyota was also very difficult, but it was actually the quickest car on the straights. I do actually enjoy driving the Toyota GT1 in this class. But when I have driven it, it has been using custom setups, so not being stuck with the defaults, so it would be making a big difference. That most likely there for Gallen will have exceeded track limits, so this lap may not count for him. Fortunately, I think my race feed has yet again frozen. Thank you very much, glitches of Project Cars 2. And for those that follow the Project Cars franchise, I'm sure you'll be aware that Project Cars 3 is currently released for early access for those who have pre-ordered the Deluxe. If you are joining us for the stream, if you have got it and you have played it, let us know what you think, or just even let us know what you think. Even if you haven't played it, just from looking at the reviews, it's copped a lot of flack. I've been following it a fair bit, to the point that people were posting a trending image of Project Cars 3 logo with 3 X's striped across it, and it became that much of a trending thing that the developers actually modified their Facebook page so that people could not post pictures as their comments because of it. So it definitely does seem to be just grid washed over with Project Cars, but so far from what I've seen, it looks very aesthetically pleasing. That is a tricky word to try and get out. And so far for casual racers, I think trying to drive the car with a controller seems to be doing quite well. So if you don't have time to get out your sim, get it all set up and learn a track and car to the extent that you usually do have to with Project Cars 2 or other games like iRacing, it's probably a good one to do. And that is a terrible shot going around that corner, which is a shame because that's actually one of my favourite corners on this track. That's one of the only real corners we actually have to get under heavy braking, try and get up to throttle again, a little bit of brake, and then get into that dip and then exit out quite strongly. Our first 4 129s, followed by 2 130s. Bertie falling behind 132, and Mersey in the Bentley at 133. Oh, and that looks like Curver going for a broad slide. Will he bring it in? No, he hasn't taken damage. He probably doesn't want to bring it in. He's only got just under 4 minutes of qualifying. You'll want to just keep that car out, disregard this lap, clean those tyres, get them back up to temp, and have a crack at another lap. Turning that car to the pits, unless you have actually had damage, will only just slow you down, as you have to get that other lap out on the cold tyres with time that doesn't count. Get those tyres up to temp by taking it a little bit easier, having a longer lap, and then really pushing yourself for that one golden lap. And when you have the pressure of a clock counting down from 3 minutes, you cannot afford to do that. Unfortunately, a little bit smaller field today, missing a couple of drivers. But we are seeing almost identical times through this board in qualifying. I think with this small field, there's going to be plenty of action to see, especially in the sprint race with 11 laps. Oh, Psycho! And ball contact, unfortunate. He may be able to still try and get that car going. It looked like he only took contact to that nose. I don't think it would have affected his suspension. No, he has decided to bring it in. He could be quick. He's got a minute 30 for his lap time, so he's probably going to do a 153 probably with exiting the pits and cold tyres. It will be enough time to get one more lap in and qualify. Oh, narrowly avoiding, oh no, and then taking up Bertie. And Gallen, I think, as well. Not sure if all of them. We've seen Gallen with a few glitching at the moment too. He's having some lag issues. He does tend to have lag issues occasionally. It looked like Psycho exiting those pits, not expecting those two cars to come flying around like they did. But Gallen has taken pole with a 129.144. We saw him take a 128. Yes, Psycho getting around Gallen, definitely doing some significant jolts side to side. The drivers are in a party chat together to be able to communicate and inform of each other of what's going on. As you can see, the sudden movements of Gallen's car at the moment, some definite internet issues going on. Hopefully no damage here. 30 seconds remaining, so these guys can get another lap in. He's definitely not going to improve his time, that's for sure. Hot on the tail of Psycho. Weaving it, angry, brought the cars into the pits. They won't get another chance to get another time. So they are currently sitting with second and third position for the start. Stenhouse, Curver, Psycho, Bertie, Mersey and Gallen all still out there to be able to set a time. Gallen's brought the car in. 90 seconds remain. Stenhouse coming in at fourth position. Hopefully Psycho has some stronger luck here. Psycho, Bertie and Mersey all with an opportunity to be able to now hit anywhere in that top 5. 65 seconds remain. Oh, I'm running a little wide. I don't think that'll be an exceeding track limits. Pushing it. It's flat foot through that corner. That looks like Bertie's screaming past there, finishing his last lap. Let's see if he improves it. Mersey's brought the car in. Does Psycho improve? It was a 130.7 he had. He does improve it, so I'm not sure if he moved and took the position away from Curver. So we have starting in pole position Gallon 350 with a 129.144. Slightly slower times compared to the practice session. That would be due to the weather conditions changing. So our sprint race will also see a slight difference. Game time is 11 o'clock and the weather is medium cloud, so it's 11 laps. So we've also seen Mersey Blue take 2 grid places penalty for speeding in pits. It won't affect him. He has qualified in 8th position, so that penalty has not affected him there. So hopefully no technical issues for Gallon. We did see a bit of lagging there. So on the screen, as you can see, those coloured bars over to the side, ping rates seem to be okay. Hopefully that continues. So we'll head over into the race ready. Drivers now have 2 minutes to set pit strategies and change setups. They can't adjust their setups as such, but they can choose between the 2 different default options of stable and loose. So stable is generally recommended for when you are using a controller. Loose you can usually get away with if you are using a steering wheel setup. However, more technical tracks with sharper turns, a stable setup is usually more recommended. The loose setup is actually quite good where you want that car to actually probably slide a little bit more and have a little bit more give around the corner so that you can keep that foot quite flat. So you'll see the cars jolt as they are changing a setup and hitting ready. All drivers must have to hit that ready button before the countdown happens, or they will be dropped out into the pits and disqualified from the race. And if you're watching the stream, if our audio is not loud enough or too loud, please let me know as well. As there has been numerous Windows updates over the last week, but I have had all sorts of issues with drivers being able to actually run the audio streams for the race. So drivers have all hit ready, so we will sync and then we'll get the light countdown. Here we go, lights counting down, 3, 2, 1 and go, off we are. A decent start to Gallon, weaving, spinning the wheels but still managing to pull away quite quickly. Not enough to keep pace on level with Gallon. Gallon jolting around, so some significant lag going on there. Looks like Angry's copped the brunt again of a turn 1 incident. Not as drastic as before. 2 drivers going off. Looks like Stanhouse and Angry have both gone off. I'm not sure if that was contact made by any of the drivers there or if they just both slid off. Signs being scattered throughout the track. Doesn't look like any scrapes to the car. Looks like they may have just ran wide, maybe got stuck on each other. Getting some very weird time results at the moment. Gallon running off wide and destroying a couple of witches' hats. You can still see it flying through the air in the distance. Well, that went probably several hundred metres in the sky. 2 cars running off wide. Weaven and Psycho both running wide off at the same time, both recovering. I think these drivers are just in it to take out any merchandise and advertising on the side of this track as much as they can. So sorry to any of the sponsors that Project Cars has put into this game. You will not be getting much coverage. These drivers have no respect for it at this stage of the race. So time's now reflecting a decent gap. It was saying Gallen was leading already by 35 seconds. That would have been a breathtaking first lap from the jump start. Gallen definitely seriously having some lag issues. He has had to drop out in the past when he's been lagging. Hopefully it doesn't affect him and he can manage to get through this race with not much of an issue. Oh, Curver running off wide there again. Quickly jump over him. We don't see... Yes, thanks. Cameras. Psycho and Weave, and we both just saw them run wide on that last corner a second ago. Psycho getting up over that curve in that corner, using every bit of track. Significant debris seen glistening in all the way across the track there, so no matter what line currently taken through that corner, it is going to be slippery. Angry and Stanhouse tailing in behind. Angry dropped back significant after that runoff with him and Stanhouse. Angry quickly catching back up. Psycho doing well, keeping up to pace with Weaven. However, Gallen is climbing ahead, now increasing his lead to almost 2.5 seconds. And when we can catch up, we are getting Curva and Psycho. Psycho feeling some pressure and running off wide, and then entering into a spin as getting back on. No contact with the wall. You bring it back on before any other traffic comes. He has 5 seconds behind Stanhouse, so he had that lucky safety net between him and 6th position. Weaven starting to close in on Gallen. You can see Gallen just ahead of him. Less than 2 seconds apart now. Field starting to split up a little bit. Angry and Stanhouse, 0.3 of a second difference. Looks like Psycho has gone off again, allowing Angry and Stanhouse to pass. Angry barely leaving a gap between the rear of that car. So that outside line there where we saw the debris scattered across the entire track there, now cleared up. Now the cars have been going over that outside. A tough corner to try and make a pass there. Angry has done it, making a pass at 270 kilometers an hour on that inside. A brilliant move by Angry. And then having that line and power through there has now put quite a quick lead on him, almost a second on him just from that pass. Brilliant driving by Angry. So Mersey having to head into the pits. So he has already been out. Looks like he's changed tyres. Gallen starting to further his lead again. As you can see, that track cleared up quite a fair bit now from the debris. That is the good thing about the physics mechanics for the live track 3.0 for this. Gallen using every bit of track, going out wide for there to try and push that Audi to its limit. 298, 299, 301 kilometers an hour before heavy on those brakes. Brilliant pace, now increasing his lead back up to 2.5 seconds over Weaven. So we are having some issues. I can't switch to Weaven. It's defaulting to Angry. We did see some of these issues in round 2 at Snetterton. At a certain corner, no matter who we watch, it would actually always revert back to Tenchi. Interesting, some of the glitches that we are starting to experience with this game with the impending launch of Project Cars 3. Whether they are allowing some of their server space to incorporate that game, I am not sure. So Stanhouse has actually recovered a position back from Angry. Lots of debris scattered there. I think that is where Psycho had gone off before when we saw him spin out in the distance. And then Stanhouse and Angry managed to get past. Gallon now starting to increase his lead to 3 seconds. Will we see Angry try and make another pass? And getting on the feed, he's only a second difference. Not in a position to be able to make a brilliant pass on that fast corner like last time. We have seen a driver drop out. It's Psycho. Psycho has dropped out. I haven't seen whether a disconnect notice came up or if he's just... I don't think he's left the session. He may still be able to view the session. Unfortunate, Psycho qualifying quite strongly. So far, our race leaders are Gallon 350 and Weaven 777 with third position, nearly 13 seconds behind the race leader. So Gallon and Weaven in a race of their own at this stage. Stanhouse and Angry competing again. Stanhouse making a pass on Angry. He had a good line through that corner. This is the fast corner that Angry passed him on before. Looks like he's pushing the do it again. He's got some good speed going for there. He has the advantage of the draft. Let's see the speed of these cars. He's side by side. He's on the inside. Angry needs the outside to take this corner nice and fast, forcing Stanhouse to take a position to the outside, which then puts him off pace, sending him into a spin. Pressure onto Stanhouse. That is brilliant driving by the two. That was fantastic. Fortunate for Stanhouse being on that line and not quite being able to hold it through. He was not relenting and giving any space for Angry. He was going to make him fight for it every little bit. So we can see a bit of damage to Stanhouse. So it was Stanhouse and Angry that went off earlier. We didn't see if they took damage, but that front left light is cracked. There are scrapes to the right of the car as well, so he's taken hits from both sides. Can't see damage to Angry's car. So Angry now having to try and catch up and recover some positions. Bertie, we haven't checked in with him. He's plugging along midfield at the moment. He is closing in on Curve for third position. 3 laps remain of the race. We'll check the times. Fastest lap so far, a 1:30.201 set by Weaven. So he has some good pace. He could definitely catch up to Gallon 350. It's half a second difference, and there's 1.6 seconds difference. Bertie is pace is a 1:32, last lap a 1:33. So he's a little bit slower than Curver, so he may not be able to catch up with him at this rate. And the track glistening like sand on a beach. Dirt scattered everywhere across the track. Angry and Stanhouse looking to have another crack at each other. While the rest of the field sitting quite comfortably at the moment with gaps, these two are still at it, not giving up on taking the position. Doing a dance, swapping back and forth from 5th to 6th. Getting a red number on Angry. Angry has received a time penalty. He's received a 1 second time penalty. So that's exceeding track limits and not obeying the slowdown. So with 2 laps remaining, he does have only 1 to 2 seconds difference between Stanhouse. Stanhouse at this stage, with Angry's penalty, he would be seeing on his screen that there is a time penalty against there. He would be seeing the +1. So his strategy at this stage is to probably not try and make a pass and risk making a mistake and costing him or Angry any damage or a position. All he needs to do is just finish hot on the tail of Angry, and he can steal that position away from him by way of time penalty. So Mersey Blue, we saw him entering in the pits, so he would have taken some damage. We'll have a look at his car and see what's going on. He may just not have been happy with how the car was performing. And it sounded like he was driving an electric car going through there with no sound whatsoever. We could only hear a helicopter buzzing above. Not a lot of pace coming out of that Bentley at the moment. Head over to our race leader. So 2 seconds apart with 1 lap remaining. Weaven is catching up on him. But Gallen could start seeing some pressure. He would definitely be seeing him in those mirrors. Weaven can catch up a little bit quicker. We did see him being... Oh no, Gallen has improved that pace, but marginally, 0.3 of a second. He's going to have to keep that pace up a little bit quicker. But it does tend to happen once you do get ahead and it's just you driving without seeing anyone around. You do tend to get a little bit relaxed and your pace can start to drop. The nerves of that last race, knowing that you're in the lead and this could be your win. Can we even catch up and put the pressure on Gallen? There is room for a mistake between our two leaders. There's 20 seconds difference to third position, so a minor accident will spin out without causing damage, and a quick recovery will not overly see them lose a position beyond a second. I think Gallen may have this race in the bag, but Weaven is quickly bringing in that time. We're not seeing a glitch by Gallen at the moment. The lag issues seem to have stopped. May have been some lag issues from one of the other drivers potentially affecting it. That can also affect that as well if another driver's connection isn't so good. Here we come up to the last corner. Big fast left into the fast right. doesn't mess this up. This is a win for Gallen in the sprint race. Here it is, flashing the lights. If he's watching the stream, well done. He usually does the drift across the finish line. Well done. We even taken second. So close behind. That is phenomenal. Another couple of laps could definitely have seen we even take that position potentially away from Gallen. Curver coming in not far behind in third position. Brilliant driving by Curver. Congratulations on the podium for Curver. And Bertie not too far behind as well. It's Angry has fallen back behind as well. All done to Bertie, taking fourth position. 68 seconds remain. Stanhouse also approaching the finish. Manages to get ahead of Angry. He didn't even need to do that. Just sit behind Angry. Angry for 1 second difference. That won't affect him with losing a position to Mersey. Mersey a little bit far behind. Well done to Angry. With some brilliant passes between Stanhouse and Angry. Mersey will have time to get that car back in. Don't think he was a lap down. It looks like he was a lap down. So that pit stop affecting Mersey's race. And here he goes, crossing the line into 7th position. We did lose Psycho. Unfortunately for Psycho, no points into the race. I know he did stay in the session, he retired. So he does actually get points for the race at 8th position for Psycho. So luckily not a disconnect there and gets to keep those points to go towards the championship. So very glad that Psycho didn't actually disconnect. That is lovely. So we lost him in lap 4. So a pit stop there by Mersey Blue affected his race, unfortunately for him. But a brilliant race done by Gallen, taking first position, Weaving in second, and Curver also on the podium in third. The fastest lap for the race has been taken by Gallen. So taking a pole position, a race win, and fastest lap for the first race of round 3. Well done. Can we see him do it yet again in the next session with a clean sweep for round 3? This will definitely be pushing him up ahead in the championship, with only tailing the current leader, Angry Oldfella, by 3 points. So some fierce competition. Angry needs to come back strongly in this next session of tonight's race. So we'll be going to have a brief 5-minute break as we set up for the next session. So we'll leave you with the Be Right Back screen. Go and have a break. It'll be approximately 5 minutes, and then we will head back in for the next session. And then it should be very exciting. We've got 25 laps at Sakitto after a 15-minute qualifying session. So plenty of action yet to come. So stay tuned. And if you haven't yet followed our channel, the links have been on the screen. Hit that follow on the link for Twitch, and we'll be back with you soon. And we are back for session 2 of round 3 of the LMP900 World Series. So we just saw Gallon 350 take pole position in the first session, and then also take a race win and score fastest lap bonus points as well. So we are currently looking at the track. So as we mentioned before, a 5.38 kilometre track, 15 turns, some very fast corners, which we saw Stanhouse and Angry take advantage of and do some great passing amongst each other. Weather is light cloud. So we are now off into a 15-minute qualifying session. I will leave the cars to head on out into the pit as I tend to remove our UE off the screen. Someone doing a burnout. So all cars now are out on the track. Thanks for joining the stream, Scagnetti05. So weather conditions are different at the moment. Qualifying is light cloud. Same weather conditions as session 1's qualifying session, except game time now is stimulated at 1 o'clock. So mid-afternoon temperatures. Ambient temps will be a little bit lower, but track temps will be slightly warmer. Practice session we did see 128s come onto the board. Qualifying we saw 129s. I definitely think we'll see a fair few 129s yet again. So we have 8 drivers back on there. We saw Psycho retire out of the first race on lap 4. Said he was having some troubles with the car. Damage and trying to get it back to the pits. And he was concerned he would get that car back in the way of others, so decided to retire and wait out the race. So for some better luck for Psycho in this round. If you do lose my commentary momentarily, it may just be me having to change microphone as I'm getting power issues with mine at the moment. I may have to quickly try and jump into a wired mic from the controller if that is the case. 132s showing up on the board for the opening laps. Not bad time for cold laps. We saw Mersey finish at the back of the pack. So we saw him have to go into the pits that saw him finish a lap down. So hearing them just briefly in the lobby in our break, he did mention that when Stanhouse had spun out, that he had nowhere to go and actually made contact with Stanhouse. So he had some significant damage to tend to. So Stanhouse, we did see having damage done to that front left light. It was actually broken and light not working. And the cars seem to be performing quite well. Him and that angry old fella are having quite intense battles consistently throughout the race. So if you're joining us for the stream, don't forget to use those panels down below to play sound effects over the stream. And also down the bottom of the screen are our links to our Facebook page. You can head to there, like the page. It'll have all results so you can keep up to date with results and standings of our championships. And then there's also a link to our group, so if you want to get involved in any of the events, you can join our group, get involved, register for the events. And then our YouTube channel is there as well. You can head over to it and subscribe. All past broadcasts get saved to our YouTube channel afterwards, as Twitch does not keep our streams for very long. We broadcast live to Twitch, so be sure to hit the follow button so you get notified when we go live. And as we've seen before, traffic cones going everywhere on that corner, this time multiple. We also saw advertising signs getting destroyed quite frequently in the last session as well. So Weaven coming in with a 129. Then we've had Stanhouse, 2 instances of laps being invalidated for exceeding track limits. But he is currently sitting in 2nd position. Psycho's now just moved up to 3rd position. Gallon 350 was our pole winner in the last one. So Gallon's just exceeded track limits. His current lap time has been invalidated, and also Angry Old Fella. So drivers pushing these cars to the limit and trying to use every bit of track they can. And our current championship standings is Angry Old Fella winning after 2 rounds with 213 points, and Gallon 350 right hot on his tail with 210 points, so 3 points difference. So now that he's taken pole and also a race win and fastest laps, he has just scored 55 points from the sprint race session. So currently, after race 1 in this round, Gallon will have taken the lead of the championship. So he needs to qualify strongly again in this race for race 2 of this round. Curver being nice and letting Gallon through there. And Angry needs to finish very strong and have a good qualifying session as well to try and maintain his lead. So bigger points are up for grabs for the main race in this. It is 60 points for a win compared to the 30 points for a win in the sprint race. It's 20 points for qualifying in pole position and 5 points for securing the fastest lap of a race. Let us know if you think Weaven will continue. Gallon also going off wide again. Birdie, Psycho and Weaven have actually all head into the pits. They haven't actually returned the car directly to the pits, but driven in. I only assume they are heading in to make changes and get on those softs. They're probably finding track temperatures maybe a little bit lower from the first session. So the hard tyres that the car defaults to being forced default setups won't be performing as good as the soft slick compound. Weaven making his way back out of the pits. It is so close between the first four. Psycho in 4th position with 0.960 off pole position. That is tight. Less than a second between the first four. Angry old fella now coming in 129, 140, 100th of a second off Weaven, but stealing pole position away from Weaven. And he's definitely the result Angry needs. With the last round, unfortunate luck for Angry, qualifying quite strongly, but get taken out in accidents early on and then ending up finishing at a midfield position. He also had the same bad luck in that first round, but he did recover and have a clean sweep. Psycho crossing the line here, not improving the time. Curver, Psycho and Gallon by the looks of things there. All tailing behind. Gallon going quite broad on that corner. Didn't exceed that. He's probably been given an opportunity to slow down. Heading into those next corners has put him off slightly after going wide on that corner. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 129s. Cars doing brilliantly. 129s for the first four, and then 5th and 6th in the 130s, 7th position a 131 and 8 of 132, all super quick times. This is fierce competition from all the drivers on the field. Oh, that's going to be quite damaging to the car. There is not much clearance on that car. I think those bumps can tend to damage the cars. Danhouse playing very cautiously there. Oh no, he's received a grid place penalty. He didn't bring that car up quick enough before entering the cones. When he sees those red cones, he needs to be doing 60 Ks. So he's been given a 1 grid place penalty. Bertie has just gone off. Lap time validated. So quite wide. He obviously didn't spin out. This next lap may be invalidated as well, as usually that last sector in those last couple of corners will affect him. Disappointing for Bertie. He does have time to get that car quickly around for another lap to have another crack at improving his time. So we'll bring up the current standings for the qualifying session. As you can see, the 1 grid place penalty for Stanhouse is currently in the pits. He's decided to bring it back in, probably quite frustrated with himself there, so he's qualified in 4th position. However, if times do not change in the current standings for the qualifying, that will see him move down to 5th position and Psycho claim the 4th. A minute 20 remains of the qualifying session. We will bring up the map. Most cars should possibly get in another lap for sure. Yes, definitely all current cars out on the field will definitely get another lap in. Angry old fella currently holding pole position, but only just Weaven very close behind. Also Gallon close behind. And Stanhouse unfortunately also very close behind, but being pushed back by a grid place. He he won't have a chance to get back out there and try and move himself up a little bit more to be able to compensate for that grid position. Sakitto doing very well for 1:30.200. Gallen's brought the car into pit, qualifying is complete, last laps. Oh, and Sakitto has spun out. Unfortunate last lap. That time is not going to be beneficial to him. He'll just bring that into the pits. There's not much point completing that lap for him now, unfortunately. Okay, the finishing lap. Oh, and then also spinning out. Unfortunate. No opportunity to try and improve the time. This session will probably finish quicker than the 60 seconds that remain. Bertie going off a little bit wide. I don't know if it's invalidated track limits. He's received the invalidated track limit there previously. See if it improves his time. He did 1:31.236. Didn't improve. 1:32, so that slowed him down. So missing out, unfortunately, for Bertie. Some bad luck for a couple of drivers there, being able to try and recover on those last laps to try and move up another position. But a strong result by drivers all around. 1:29.140, fastest lap, giving Angry Oldfellow pole position. Starting also at the front is Weaven 777. We've seen him get away quite quickly in the series off the grid, so there will be some competition quite strongly at the front at the start, with Weaven trying to get ahead of Angry. There is a right-hand turn, so they will need to try and fight for position quite quickly very early at that starting light. Gallen starting in third position. Stanhouse showing in fourth position, but he has received a 1 grid place penalty, so that will now see him move down to fifth position, with Sakitto now moving up into starting at fourth. Curver 974 in sixth, Bertie in seventh, and Mersey Blue in eighth. So a difference of 3.5 seconds between the entire field. It is very tight. So we're about to head over into the race for 25 laps. So drivers now have 2 minutes to get ready for the race. So we will just have to wait momentarily for them. It could be less time, just depending on how quick they all hit that ready button. So once they've all hit it, the countdown will stop and then head straight to the starting lights. The game time currently is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's 25 laps. There's a mandatory pit for this race, so it will be part of their strategy to ensure a victory in the race. So they will need to make sure currently in this race ready room is double checking that their pit strategies are set up, as it does tend to cost a lot of drivers the race, as if you do not have the correct setups for changing tyres, or if you're needing it or having repairs, when you're needing repairs, they can do a stop and go, so they can just pull up, wait for the clear to go, and then head off. That does count as the pit. They do not actually have to change tyres or make any changes to repairs, fuel, etc. So weather will progress throughout the race, so weather forecast is light cloud to clear, so temperatures will start to increase towards the back end of the race. The weather is synced to the race, so it is a little bit random. It won't be exactly halfway through. We could see it change early on or quite late in only just the last few laps. Okay, drivers are ready, so we are set to go. The countdown will begin in a moment. Here we go. Drivers ready. Angry edging. But Weaven gets the jump on Angry, but heavy on the acceleration sees him into a slide. Angry nudging at the start, potentially risking a jump start and a drive for a penalty. Oh, and then Gallon has spun out. Sorry, no, it is Psycho. There's chaos. The car has been flipped. Nosy Blue has seemed to escape that. It's Psycho Curver. There is half a car sitting on the ground. I don't know if that is Curver's car. Cameraman can catch up. Not sure whose rear end is still remaining on the track. We will go through. I think it is Gallon. Gallon is falling back. Oh no, his front is gone. His rear is gone. Gallon is completely destroyed. I think that's who was on their roof. Gallon is now driving a go-kart. There is no fairings on that car. That car is not going to perform. He needs to bring that car into the pits. Fortunately for this, the cars will most likely be able to get through a race with a set of tyres, so he can use his mandatory pit now, get that car back in, and then just battle through the race with those repairs. Disaster. Not sure what was going on there. I think multiple cars went into a slide, spun out and made contact off track. Weaven getting ahead of Angry quite quickly, pushing that lead to almost 2 seconds. Brilliant start by Weaven. Yeah, definitely gotta love trying to win in turn 1. It's usually chaos, but it is brilliant when you do get a nice clean run through when you are out in the field driving. But for the sake of a broadcast, disasters on turn 1 always make for some good viewing. Just very unfortunate for Gallon at this stage. The Psycho, Gallon and Curver all in the pits. 3 cars involved in this incident. The Stanhouse is now closing in on Bertie. Stanhouse taking care of those traffic cones on that same corner. They have copped a beating in this race. Oh, Stanhouse going off wide. Tailing in rather quick. He was in the stream of Bertie. Had that extra speed, didn't allow for it heading into that corner. Can he make a nice fast pass here? Going for an inside move. Bertie feeling a bit of pressure, moving out wide, side by side, 2 abreast, through the fast corners. Stanhouse having the outside, stronger driving line for this corner. They are so close together. And Psycho, by the looks of it, dives out just in front of the 2, having them, all of them, we've just had a spin out. I'm not sure whose car that was. It was a dark grey Audi. I'm not sure who just spun out. Stanhouse being lucky, being on that proper driving line going into that first corner. Bertie having to shave off that speed, ready for it. Bertie taking out those cones. That same corner again, drivers really pushing the limits of that corner. Unfortunately for Gallon or Psycho, who came out of the pits at that time, I think it was Psycho, and then blocked Bertie, having to get extra hard on those brakes for the corner. The Stanhouse now being able to climb ahead by nearly 6 seconds on Bertie. So Gallon now back out on track with a freshly repaired car. He can still try and recover and get a stronger position. So we have seen Gallon, Psycho and Curver all in the pits. So they do not have to pit again for the race. They should be able to survive out there with fuel loads. The default setup will have enough fuel load to get them through the race. And given that they are on hard tyres, they could definitely survive, even a set of softs. So an advantage to that accident. It could have seen them decide to actually opt to swap out to the soft slicks whilst they had to go in for those repairs. Oh, we've just seen someone dive off track. It's a white Audi. I think it was Stanhouse. Yes, Stanhouse was just dove off track. Bertie now reclaiming. Doesn't look like he's taken any damage. Just gone off into the kitty litter. Bertie and Stanhouse playing cat and mouse. Psycho now hot on the tail of curve, putting some pressure on these fast corners. You can see Curve in the crosshairs of Psycho, looking to find a position. Risky to try and make a pass on that inside line for that corner. Puts you offline for those next two apexes to come out rather quick. Almost having an opportunity to get there with Curver swinging back across and blocking that position. Curver now starting to get away. Over to Bertie and Stanhouse, who are now competing again. Stanhouse now catching back up to Bertie yet again. Stanhouse quickly catching up on Bertie, much quicker through those couple of corners. This is where we saw Stanhouse dive across the track. Also struggling going out wide on that corner. Running wide again. Goodbye Monster Energy and WND. No advertising for you guys on that corner anymore. Over to Curver and Psycho. Psycho getting past Curver. So it was a quick exchange. They were only second. Curver cutting that corner quite sharply. Not sure if that's giving him a slowdown warning. It would have been quite a strong cutting. Currently battles for third and fourth and sixth and seventh. And Curver runs wide into the kitty litter, bringing a barrage of soil out onto the track as he re-enters. Stanhouse also running wide. You can see glistening all over the track and has been scattered all over, so that is going to affect some of the driving lines for these drivers. They're definitely going to have a little bit of slip. Stanhouse running wide on the same corner again, looking to possibly make a pass, but all in contact. That is heavy contact. He's damaged that front left. That car is pulling over to the left by the looks of that. Stanhouse also sporting damage on that exact same situation, position of the car. He's definitely having trouble. He's looking for this pit. Oh, and contact again. Struggling to get that car. He's right where the pits are. Get that car in. As long as he does not speed in the pits and cop a time infringement penalty or potential disqualification. He's got the pit limiter on in time. He's bringing that in, so that can be his mandatory pit. Unfortunate incident there for Weaven. for Stanhouse. We are now over to Weaven, should I say. Angry old fella, 2 seconds behind Weaven. You can see him in the background, quickly closing in. Already shaving half a second off just in those last 2 corners. In the background there, looks like it may be Psycho and Curva. So they are a lap down. Weaven, Angry, Bertie and Mersey will be required to pit. So we're now on lap 8 of 25. Had some fierce battles between several positions, some significant incidents, and we are only 8 laps in. Weaven starting to increase that gain over Angry a little bit more again. I'm not getting sector time feeds, unfortunately, so I cannot see who is doing quicker in what section of the track at the moment. The driving line on that section with all that debris has started to clear up. Gallen's recovered a position now that Stanhouse has had to make that pit stop. He has now exited. It was quite a lengthy pit. Last lap of 3 minute 36. Significant damage required to be done and repaired on his car. Angry, now less than a second. I think we may see a move here made by Angry. Brilliant outside pass, but that's put him offline a little bit quick. Managing for Weaven to recover that position. Different lines being taken by both drivers. Angry gauging Weaven, seeing where he can try and take an opportunity. Weaven looking to also block. Weaven taking the outside line, darting side to side. Making it easy for Angry to try and make a decision as to where to pass. And a friendly nudge to Weaven. It did put Angry off, but he recovered quickly. Oh, Angry spins. I'm not sure if he's just taken a hit from someone. I don't think he did. That is unfortunate. He moves over the way for Curva. So it was Psycho managed to scrape past without taking any damage from Angry's spin. Angry remains in second position, so it was lap cars getting past. Fortunate bad luck. Angry taking out those hats. He would have taken a little bit of damage, so he's going to use that as his mandatory pit. Weaven now having the opportunity to try and climb ahead as far as he can, put as much time over the rest of the pack. Looks like Angry has received a time penalty. He did speed entering the pits. He didn't pull it up just in time, so he's received a 10-second penalty. That will hurt him. With tight racing, that will definitely could cost him a position at the end of the race unless the field starts to separate over the course of the next 15 laps. So we are approaching to the halfway mark of the race. So it looks like Gallen sitting right behind Bertie. Bertie currently in second position. Gallen is in seventh. Keep joining us for the stream. Don't forget to use those sound effects. Say good day. Let us know who you think's going to win this race. Be sure to hit that follow button too. We are starting to climb in our followers. We are aiming to get to that 50 mark. Please help us, hit that follow button, share the feeds. Oh, and Bertie slides, almost colliding with Gallen. Lucky for Gallen, not taking another hit. Bertie recovers. It did cost him a few seconds, with now Angry quickly catching up, and he has pitted. Bertie and Weaven and Mersey still required yet to pit. Psycho has gone off track. I'm not sure if he's taken any damage. Looks like he hasn't taken any damage. So we have Angry looking to recover back into second position. Quickly closing in on Bertie. Weaven sitting quite comfortably with a 47-second lead. He may decide to keep pushing. Angry going off wide. Brings it back in time. Leaving a trail of debris behind him as he re-enters that track from the sand pit. Will Bertie give him space to pass? Angry looking to make an inside move, pushing Bertie out to the outside, forcing him to move offline. A nice pass by Bertie. Heavy pressure put onto Bertie to take that position back. Angry's focus now is just to try and keep fast, consistent pace, to try and close as much of that gap as he can in time for Weaven to have to make his mandatory pit stop, and that could see him be able to try and take that lead. But then if he does happen to take first position, he does have that 10-second time penalty that he has to try and put over whoever follows him in that position to ensure he doesn't lose it at the end of the race and drop a position just because of that time infringement. We're checking with Mersey. Mersey taking damage in that first race. Stanhouse spinning out in front of him, and Mersey had nowhere to go and had to make contact. Stanhouse faring quite well out of the incident, but Mersey fell to the back of the pack as he had to make that pit stop and had lengthy time for repairs. So we don't have too many going on. So Gallen heading back into the pits again. No, sorry, it's Psycho. See damage to his car. We did see him spin off. Didn't know if he took damage, but that damage we are seeing is possibly just residual from last time. No tyres. Yeah, he's getting repairs done. And away he goes. I think what we see to the pit crew to when they give the go may not actually be indicated to what the drivers see when they are told to be released. Weaven driving some very consistent, nice laps at the moment. While we don't have too many drivers close to each other for a battle. We'll have a quick look at the current times. So fastest lap set so far has gone to Stanhouse 321 with a 1:30.353. Gallon 350 very close behind with a 1:30.357. So times to look for at the moment is Weaven 777 Angry Oldfellow. We need to see if they can catch up. So Weaven does need to pit. Angry's best lap a 1:39.43 and Weaven a 1:39.79. So their last lap, half a second quicker by Angry. So 11 laps remain, and Weaven does require pitting. A 44-second difference. We'll quickly see just how slow Psycho's lap was with his pit. So we saw him with an extra minute. So that would have been with repairs. So we could possibly expect a 15, possibly 30-second pit stop. So Weaven does have the opportunity to be able to get into the pits and probably get back out on track. And he does have the advantage over Angry at the moment as he... Oh, and then we have a runoff. That looks like Stanhouse going wide off into that corner. He managed to bring it back in. Yes, so Weaven does not actually have to finish the race in first position. He can allow for a bit of breathing space and allow Angry to take first away from him during the race, so long as he finishes within 10 seconds behind Angry, as that time penalty will force him to move back up into that race win position. Have Gallen starting to feel a bit of pressure from Stanhouse. Gallen's car looking much better after the go-kart look he endured after that first corner. Flipping his car multiple times, landing on his roof, losing the front and rear ends of that car's spoilers. There was not much left to that car. And Stanhouse going wide. We've seen him go wide on that corner last lap as well. With him now disappearing. Bertie has entered the pits. He has completed his mandatory pit. Weaven also heading into the pits for his mandatory pit. You can see Angry now closing in 30 seconds. I was estimating a 30-second pit stop. I think we may see him just get out in front of Angry. Mersey Blue also in for the mandatory pit. So all cars now have pitted. 20 seconds, 15 seconds counting. Here comes Angry. I don't think he will catch him. Weaven will have Mersey Blue in front of him. There is some traffic. Angry will get ahead. No! Oh, just in time. Tucks immediately in front. 100th of a second in front of Weaven. Stanhouse, we don't know what the cameraman is doing here, and Stanhouse, 3 white Audis all in a line. So Weaven had to be careful coming out of those pits with Angry trying to get that position out from there. He did not want to end up into an accident. Mersey Blue going off wide. I think he was potentially seeing the blue flag, may have moved off track a little bit too much to let the cars through. Weaven did not want to risk an accident. Does not want to have to try and squeeze out in front. The car has gone off. It looks like it's Gallon. Narrowly avoiding that wall as he gets back around Mersey Blue, then also coming around, taking it cautiously around Gallon. 30, back into the pits again. He may have taken some damage. That car seems to be pulling to the left. Yes, so as mentioning with that pit exit, trying to get back out in front of Angry. If he hasn't noticed Angry's 10-second time, some drivers don't have any heads-up displays on their screens, so they don't see the race standings up in their screen like we are seeing on the top left at the moment. So they are not always aware that a driver has a time infringement penalty. As normally when you have that on your heads-up display, it will show the amount of time that driver actually has. So Whedon's strategy now is just to finish the race, is just to either get past Angry cleanly and manage to finish the race nice and safe, or just stay hot on the tail of Angry Old Fella within that 10 seconds, and then he will steal that win away from him. And with that, Angry now needs to try and put a 10-second lead plus over Weaven. Can he do that with only 8 laps remaining? And we just saw Mersey Blue safely get past Gallon after he re-entered the track from a spin out. Gallon is now closing back in quite quickly. Getting on my feed that Weaven and Angry are starting to close in. They are now less than 800ths of a second apart. Doesn't look like they'll be able to make a pass anytime soon unless a mistake is done by Angry. There's a rock and some tyre on that track. Bertie now falling back to the end of the field. Now in 8th position, of having to make another pit stop. Not sure what happened to him. It definitely looked like that car was pulling to the left. Gallon starting to slip away from the Bentley. Mersey Blue starting to pull away. Our race leaders. Angry is starting to get that gain. We'll quickly have a look and see their last laps. Weaven's last lap is quicker, and both their last laps done were their fastest laps of the race. 1:30.036 set by Stanhouse is the current fastest lap of the race. Stanhouse currently sitting in 4th position. Angry and Weaven starting to separate again. Getting a strange time difference here. Looks like Mersey Blue moving out of the road. Or he was just breaking the slipstream. Not sure what's going on there. Narrowly just brings it back in front of Gallon. Gallon running wide, forcing Gallon an error. Gallon's currently in 6th, Mersey Blue in 5th, but we are seeing, oh, when we got Angry and Weaven making a pass. That was a quick change. Angry now 2.5 seconds, going to 3 seconds. He's gone off track. With Stanhouse now hot on his tail in 4th position. Curver is in 3rd. So cars being lapped. So 4th position hot on the tail of 2nd. We'll see how many laps. So 4th through to 8th, currently on lap 18. First, second and third bounce to commence lap 20. The first three have lapped the rest of the field. Which is why we were seeing inconsistent times from the distance. We were seeing Gallen sitting in 6th position behind Mersey Blue, but a quicker time difference. May have just been a glitch that has now rectified itself now. 5 laps remaining. If Weaven can just bring that car around for 5 clean laps. We're seeing a bit of jittery from Gallen. A little bit of lag. We did see that in the first session and at the start of the first race, but improved over time. Hopefully it doesn't affect him in the race. Perhaps that wasn't the case that caused the accident on that first corner as well. Cars starting to separate quite a bit. Danhouse still holding the fastest lap. I think this will definitely be a quick lap for Weaven. Yes, a 1:29.997. He's just taken the fastest lap. He may have opted for soft tyres when he did pit. Weather is looking like it is quite sunny. Track temps are going up, so the soft compound tyres won't necessarily be an advantage with these increased track temperatures. The hards will be fine. It was a very quick pit stop that Weaven did as well, so I think he simply did just stop and go. So I can see a sign flying about off in the distance. 30 making a pass on Psycho. And Psycho spins out on the first corner. Luckily no damage there, just a spin out into the grass. He can recover from that. Fortunate for Psycho. Given the blue flag by the sounds of things, Curver making the pass, Psycho going off track to allow him through. Great sportsmanship shown by Psycho. Well done, Psycho. The explosion was definitely well worth the sound effect of taking out that sign back there. Signs and traffic cones have taken more of a thrashing than the cars in this race and the last race so far. Angry now slipping to 10 seconds behind our race leader. A little bit of lag shown by Angry's car. It suddenly jumped track position. Not a usual scene for Angry. So some internet issues being present for a couple of drivers. I myself also actually having internet issues earlier, with my NBN usually being anywhere from 30 to 60 megabits down to only 9 megabits download. So my upload being much more significant than my download, which is actually quite lucky considering for these streams I am solely relying on the upload speed. Angry closing in a little bit. Angry definitely safe. Psycho heading into the pits. taken some damage again. He's had a few pits so far, unfortunately for Psycho. Very unlucky race. Gallon also heading back into the pits again. Damage being a drastic factor to the outcome of their race for race 2 in our round 3 at Sakitto GP. We've been doing brilliantly. Lap 23, 2 laps remaining. Angry old fella has Curver tailing behind him by a good minute. So as long as no mistakes made by Angry, that 10-second pit speed violation penalty will not affect him for that position. Curve, our silent contender in the race at the moment. Pretty sure we did see him involved in the incident at the start of the race as well. So a brilliant recovery. There's a good chance he could take a podium on this race. That Stanhouse is closing in quite quickly. Oh, he's now spin off. That's furthered the lead. Weaven or Angry is currently catching up on Curve. I think they are starting to now look at lapping position 3. Yes, it is Weaven now catching up on position 3. Weaven looking to almost lap the entire field besides Angry. Give a cheer to Weaven and his brilliant racing in this race. Gallon and Bertie currently contesting for 6th position. Both drivers also having to make multiple pit stops. A little bit offline by both drivers, looking to try and defend and also take an opportunity for a pass. They're on lap 23. To catch up to Weaven, he's about to finish this race very soon. He's halfway through his lap. We don't want to lose an opportunity to see Gallon make a pass on Bertie. This will be their last lap as well. As soon as Weaven crosses the line, last lap will be shown, so this will be them finishing. I think Gallon's going to make a move. Hot on that tail. Off the track, that could be costly. Goes wide again, very wide, but re-enters straight back in. I don't think it'll give him a slowdown, but it has cost him. He's lost that opportunity to pass. They still get another lap to do it. Curver would be given the blue flag to move over for Weaven. Weaven flashing the lights. He's won the race. Brilliant race by Weaven 777. Also taking the fastest lap by the looks of things, a 1:29 blistering speed. Well done, Weaven. Angry finishing off in 2nd position. Brilliantly done. Curver was ahead of Weaven before finishing it, so he's got 90 seconds to finish this lap. He has a minute gap to Stanhouse, so he should be safe. Oh, and a broad slide there by Psycho. Turns it into a burnout. Gonna keep doing donuts. Now he's going to get that car back around. Bertie and Gallon making contact. Who made first contact? I think it may have been Gallon. So it looks like Gallon redressed the situation, allowed Bertie to recover. This is their last lap. 50 seconds remain. There's not enough here and there's some mistakes made. Gallon cutting the corner, making an outside pass. Don't know if he's been given a slowdown. He'll possibly ignore it and just take the 1 second as long as he can push more than a second over him. Narrowly, oh, did Bertie just take the position back away from Gallon? He did. I think it was Psycho in the road, stopped at the finish line, causing Gallon to have to brake and Bertie reclaim that position. Intense finish for Bertie and Gallon. Gallon making an insane pass on that last set of corners. Unfortunately, Psycho being in the road. So a brilliant race driven by Weaven. 777 taking the podium up there, first position, also taking away with the fastest lap bonus points, a very quick 1:29.997. On the podium also is Angry Old Fella in second position, Curva 974 in third, so Angry's 10-second penalty not costing him a position. Stanhouse taking fourth, Mersey Blue in fifth, Bertie in sixth. No, I can't save the replay, I just had to block my screen, so now I can see Gallon taking seventh, narrowly missing that sixth position from Psycho being in the road at the end, and then Psycho taking eighth position. So that was a wonderful race all around by all drivers. Very exciting indeed. So if you've joined us for the stream, be sure to hit that follow button. Head over to our Facebook page as well. You can keep up to date with all our race results and standings and other things as well. There's also a link to join our group. You can head over to our YouTube channel, watch any past races. They do get uploaded after the streams have finished, so when they disappear off Twitch, all previous races are there to be seen. But please definitely hit into it and hit that follow button to help us try and reach that 50 goal. That is our current goal, to get to 50 followers on Twitch. Much appreciated to join you and commentate and have you watch our race. So next Thursday night, same time again, we head off to round 4 of the championship. So that's at Hockenheim GP. So it'll be another exciting race with all these same drivers. Hopefully we see a couple of return with Tenchi, and also for Matteo Tommaso, who both were unfortunately able to get into the race tonight, and also for Corby, he wasn't able to make it as well. So shout out to you guys, unfortunately being able to join us tonight. Hopefully we see you for next week's race as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.